Okay, my friends, here it is. The Monday morning live stream at the Thrive Like a Viking headquarters in the cave studio today. It's all dark and cloudy, which I don't mind at all. So we're going to get into the meditation, and then we're going to talk about some things that came to me this morning as far as what to talk about. And synchronicities, yes, meaning, purpose. What does it mean? And what does it mean in relation to the ego mind, the me that I think that I am, based upon last week's conversation? Yes. So if you guys have any thoughts on any of this, so be sure to chime in. If you are watching after the fact, leave it in the comments. Future topic ideas that you have. All right. So let us see who is here, guys. Spawn Viking. Hello. Good morning, my friend. Says busy at work, but listening. Yes. That's how I like to listen to stuff like this. We just put it on as we're doing something. Lucia. Hello, my friend. Says hello, Nate and the tribe. Here is a dark afternoon with rain and wind in the Netherlands. Dear Nate, may I send you an email? Yes, you may. Please do. You can do that at gardenlikeaviking@gmail.com. Yes. Although it may take me a moment to respond because I do receive a lot of emails, but I will eventually get to it. So don't worry. Let me move this out of the way for us. How's the sound, guys? How's the sound? Sunshine. What did I say? Let's see here. Graham Divine, hello, my friend, says, good morning, afternoon from a sunny Ireland. Ooh, I thought that was almost an oxymoron. Yes, good morning. Good morning, Angela Crawford. Yes, hello, Ms. T. Good to see you guys. Andre Puskas, hello, says, hello, Nate and tribe. Great topic today. Yes, it's going to be. Aaron Johnson, hello, my friend. Val says, good Monday morning from hazy northern Arizona in the other Mile High City. Happy to be here with all of you. Yes, same here, guys. It's a good start to the week because we start the week here, get the mind right, get the intentions right and everything, and then we go about our week. It's going to be a very productive week. It already was the past several days with the garden renovation. Guys, yesterday, me and Camille were working back there big time. Like we had running things through the wood chipper, getting all that. We took the whole garden and hot composting the whole garden, basically all the straw from the pathways and everything. And then for the first time ever at this garden, which has only been 5 years here, but I tilled it, guys. I took the tiller to it. All right. And I'm going to make content. You know, how many of you guys remember that song by Boys to Men? It's so hard to say goodbye. Do you remember that song? And that's what was playing through my head the whole time. You know, it was just like a bittersweet experience. I was just tilling up that soil and it was all in slow motion. And, but man, I look down at that soil. It is so rich and black and beautiful and fluffy. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen better soil anywhere. And that's from 5 years of amazing practices. And so tilling it in there is really what it needed, though. You can tell because there was just too many spots, several spots that were still just kind of clay, you know, but all of it nice and incorporated now is just so beautiful. I can't get over it. I mean, I was like looking at it. I just kept taking videos of how beautiful the soil is. Okay. So if you're someone like me, that does something for you. You're like, oh man, when you can tell good soil, you can smell it, you can feel it. When you walk on it, you can feel it. Yeah. So all that is happening. So as soon as we're done here, I'm getting back out there, going to be working in the rain, probably a little bit, not a problem. And we're going to make it happen. We're building them beds, and I got my uncle coming over tomorrow. Camille also. We're going to scoop all that stuff into the beds, and we're going to plant the garlic finally. Okay? So just letting you guys know what's going on. Brian Eri, good morning, my friend. Dylan Davis, love the topics. Yes, we will get into it. Be sure to chime in. Nick the Gardener, good to see you, my friend. Susanna, hello, good morning. And let's see here. Yes, Aaron John. I always feel bad tilling. Right. Yeah, definitely. It's not something we're going to make a practice of here. There's no need for it because obviously what we've been doing the past 5 years is really been beneficial. So yes, but we are going to till it this time. Yeah, What's up, Teats Treats, my friend? We will be talking to you later this evening, this afternoon. Yes. Okay, so guys, let us drop into the meditative state of mind. Wherever you are, straighten the spine and close the eyes. And take 3 deep conscious breaths together, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Last one, fill the lungs as deeply as you can. Hold. Hold. Let it go. Now immediately release all thoughts from the mind, all storylines, all mental images, all planning for the future, all remembering of the past. Release all of it this moment. If you've been practicing for some time, your ability to do this is increasing and is becoming stronger and stronger, so that almost immediately you can take a few deep breaths and clear the mind. And immediately you have access to the feeling of peace and of serenity and of satisfaction and of confidence, all the good feelings. It's all there, just waiting for you to clear the way so that it can come through you. What stands in the way is our thoughts, the incessant talking machine in the head, the excessive, incessant movie generator in the mind. Until you begin honest meditation practice, you will have no control over this. If you're new to the practice, as I speak and highlight and direct things, you can just focus your attention on the sensation of air as it flows into your body. There is a subtle sensation around the nostrils. Rest your attention only on that. Nothing else. There's no need for anything else. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. It's that simple. Many of you will find that although you've made the agreement with yourself to rest your attention only on the breathing, you actually have a very difficult time doing this. For many people, it can be one of the most difficult things they ever try to do. Control the mind. In our day-to-day life, the unexamined life, we think we have control over our mind. But as soon as we begin meditation practice, we see that that is not the case. If you had control over your mind, then make it sit still and be quiet. Right now, make your mind sit still and be quiet. Focus only on the breathing. Many of you will find that you cannot go but a few seconds before the mind takes hold of your attention again. Many of you that have been practicing, you can go considerably longer. So this makes us question, do I have control of my mind, or does it have control of me? Or is my mind all that I am? The unexamined mind doesn't realize this distinction, that you have a mind. You are not the mind. You are not the thought process. It actually has nothing to do with you. Every time that you find your mind has wandered away to something else, immediately bring it back to the sensation of air as it flows in and out. Now, many of you that have been practicing for some time, remain vigilant. The ego mind is very clever and tricky, and it will do anything to maintain its position of superiority and control. So, if you find yourself able to go 10 breaths while remaining focused, wow, then all of a sudden a thought comes into the mind. Wow, I'm doing good. I'm really developing. I'm getting somewhere. Wow. The ego mind has crept back in through the back door. You don't have to try to shut out the mind. It's not like a whack-a-mole to the thought process. No. The truth is, you can never stop the mind from thinking, because that's what it does. The lungs breathe, the heart beats, the bowels digest. The mind thinks. But what we are concerned with, the entire meditation practice, is discovering who is it that is aware of these thoughts. How am I aware that the mind is thinking, yet it is not me? Who is aware? Where is this entity? What is it? Together, let us take a few deep conscious breaths, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, fully in. Hold. Let it go. Last one. Fill the lungs deeply as you can. Hold. Hold. Let it go. The reason that we choose something like the breathing as the meditation object is because, one, it is always there. This type of meditation, in the beginning especially, can be seen like going to the gym for your mind. Your attention at this point in the beginning, just focus on your attention. Let us just say that it doesn't even need to be anything deeply spiritual right now for you in the beginning. You can just say that I want to increase my attention span, my power to focus. Think of how valuable just that would be in your life. Your ability to focus on what you want for an extended period of time. You can focus your thought energies, your enthusiasm. You can focus all of it, direct it consciously instead of just being all over the place. Think how many of you can relate now, especially in this world of social media where it's systematically being done to our mind to fracture the attention span. How you'll go to do something and then you'll find yourself 10 seconds later, oh, I gotta check my phone, or oh, I gotta check this, or another thought pops in, and all of a sudden you're totally doing something else. You come to and you're in the basement, folding laundry or something, and you're like, oh wait, but I was supposed to be doing this. All these kind of things are the result of a fractured mind, which is promoted heavily in our society now because, many reasons we won't get into now. So what you're doing is you are consciously undoing all the conditioning that has been done. So when you scroll on your phone, when you get on Instagram and you're scrolling, the algorithm is deciding where your attention goes. It pulls you to this and to that, and it knows exactly what is going to draw you in. What images, what reels, what things to show, what controversial title, all of that. What kind of skin to show, and sexualized images and things. What's going to pull you in, and it knows exactly. And so you're scrolling, or even when you're on social media, or you're looking up, researching a recipe or something, all those ads are popping up, and they're all personalized to you in many ways. So the algorithm is always watching, and it always knows you better than most of you know yourself. This is the truth. And so it is determining where your attention goes. You're not consciously doing any of it. You think that you are, but that's just another thought that I'm in control of my mind. Okay, then if you're in control of your mind, sit down, tell it to be quiet, and that's it. Put it down for a while. Okay, boom. Okay, tick, 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 and crickets. All of a sudden the mind hears crickets. It's like, okay, what's next? Something more stimulating? Give me something more stimulating, please. Because it's used to that constant stimulant, and grabbing it. And so you will find immediately when you begin examining the greatest instrument you'll ever own, then you see, whoa, I actually don't have any control over this thing. I better get a grip on this thing that from the mind, everything else stems. And so you say, wow, this needs some work. And so how we do that, yes, Graham, very good, says attention is the currency of the universe. That's why they say pay attention. Yes, attention is the currency of the universe. Also in the sense that where attention goes, energy flows. Where attention goes, energy flows. And we don't just mean this in a self-help kind of way. We mean this in a way that is building reality. co-creating reality. We'll get into that later. But the reason that we are utilizing the breath for the meditation is because it is always with us and it is very low stimulation. Okay? So we are bringing the attention back consciously. We're not letting the algorithm decide where our attention is going, during the meditation, because we do that all the time, and the advertisements and just the external world in general is dictating where your attention goes. So what appears to be the external world, of course, there is no difference, but we have to talk in paradoxes to use language. But we use the breath because every time that we break the spell of where our attention's being pulled and we bring it back to the present moment, that is re-strengthening that muscle, that neurological muscle of focus and attention, willpower, all these things, they're all one. We call them different things, but they're all like one sort of force that is driving your life. So purposely, the breathing is not stimulating, because it's easy to focus on something that's really stimulating. That's why there's all kinds of cuts and edits and pop and bang and all kinds of stuff in television shows and laugh tracks and all kinds of. It just forces your attention. We have to undo all of that. We really have to undo all of that. Hopefully you're at the point in life, I don't need to convince you of the negative effects this is having on ourselves and on society. More polarized than ever, more sick and obese than ever, more combative and rude and disrespectful than ever before, as a whole. Of course, there's pockets of goodness, absolutely, which those are the pockets of goodness that we are, is what is going to, in the next cycle, gain dominance again over civilization. But that's going to be some time. That's not going to be tomorrow. That's not going to be in 2030. Sorry. So, yes, Teach Treats remembers that. That's right. I remember that. Someone said last week, mentioned an ad-free lifestyle. I like that. I mean, that's what I already have, of course, but that's coining a phrase that is easy to remember and very useful. It's about cultivating an ad-free lifestyle, an advertisement-free lifestyle. I like that a lot. In fact, I'm going to write that on one of these thousands of note cards. That's the kind of, all this stuff is pretty much what that is. Thoughts, boom. This is the outline to the first gardening book, but many other things, so many things. Oh, what's up, Miller? Okay, that was this guy, ad-free lifestyle. That's right. Good job. Carol Fago, good morning, my friend. Yes. Brian Aries says, what a blessing. I was able to meditate with my wife today. So calm. Yes. Such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. I know this. When you're vibing on the same wavelength, all right? So it sort of gets us into the topic, okay? Because I wanted to touch on the topic of synchronicities. So when I say synchronicities, what does it mean to you guys? Just shoot out the first thing that comes to your mind. So if someone says, wow, I'm just noticing all kinds of synchronicities, what does that mean to you? Yes? So while you guys give some responses on that I can then go off of, I want to I want to illustrate how most people are. One second. Most people live in a state of almost constant resistance to what is. They go about their life they've developed a mental structure, a mental construct that is in conflict with the reality of what is. So what I mean by that is it is a structure of the mind, a hardware program that then interprets whatever comes through in a particular way. You understand? When the structure is built in such a way, the content becomes interchangeable. So what we're concerned with here is the structure of the mind, the structure of how you perceive reality. So many people have a structure that is rooted in things like life is hard, life is a struggle, you've got to work hard, life's not fair. All these kind of things, it's really deeply rooted in that. And so that is the structure of their mind. It doesn't really matter what content, all the content is interchangeable. And they will see struggles and they will see that life is like an enemy to them. Why me? Why is it always me? Where all these negative things are, even though I'm trying to get my life together and to do better, and I donate to people and I give thanks and all, but still, why me? My life's so all of these are structural issues with the mind. The content, it doesn't matter what changes. The mind will see it in the same way. And so most people are in a constant state of mild resistance to the reality of what is, to life, that it should be a different way. I should be doing more. I should have more. Life should be different. All the shoulds in some way. Yes? And so in the ego mind, everything appears fractured. Everything appears like separate events that are happening in some kind of chronological timeline, in some kind of linear timeline, right? So events are happening, but they're separate. This event happens, and then it's separate. And then that event happens, and then it's separate, okay? But just like time, hopefully many of you have begun to wrap your mind around time and the illusion of time, that there is no time. Time is a construct of the mind. And so everything is now. There is only now. There is only this moment. And the thing that makes it appear like this moment right now is different in some way than the moment you had 10 minutes ago in meditation is the thoughts. That's all. That's the only thing that makes it feel or appear different. Now is the same exact moment as when we were meditating 10 minutes ago. But you say, whoa, no, well, no, it isn't. There's many different moments. Well, why? Well, what? It is thought that is appearing to cut up and say, oh, well, because my attention was somewhere else, that somehow we've changed the now. But the now never changes. The now never goes anywhere. It's all that is. It's the only space in which anything can happen. What am I doing? So in the same way, the thought process, the ego mind is what we're talking about, cuts up the now, which all things exist simultaneously. It is circular. All things are now. And the only thing that cuts it up and makes it appear like there are different events that are separate from one another is the ego mind. But where is the dividing line between one event happening and another event? Okay, so I'm sitting here talking and then I pick up my phone. Okay, well, where is the dividing line between one moment and the next? The mind will say, well, when you touch the phone, that's when that moment began. That's when that event began. But it didn't. It didn't, because if I wasn't here standing, I wouldn't be able to reach and touch the phone. If I didn't have you guys to hold me accountable, I probably wouldn't even have done this live. I would have been right out in the garden, this morning. So all of these things, so nothing exists entirely separate from the other thing. Okay? So the thought process, though, wants to say, no, these are different moments, but any distinguishing factor between different moments or different events is arbitrary, totally made up in the mind. Okay? So we will get back to that. Well, let's just keep going with it before I read some of this stuff, okay? Some of the comments from you guys. So anything that appears to separate moments or events, they're the same thing, really, because the time, psychological time, is how the human mind measures entropy. It's how the human mind measures change. It says, okay, things have appeared to change, so that must be time. There must be, it creates this psychological linear thing that we'll call time, okay? But actually, it's all happening now. It's all now. And so when we begin to, now, the reason that it appears this way is because the ego mind is a contracted energy. The ego mind, think about your ultimate being is all that is. Hopefully you've watched last week's episode and we can at least relate on this level. I don't have to re-explain all of this. But the real you is the infinite source of creation. There is nothing outside of you. Nothing can ever be outside of you because how could it be? It's the all there is, all that ever will be. Man, I'm having a hard time with this thing today. It's all that is or ever will be, all right? And so, let's see. And so your whole life, the ego mind makes it seem like you have a life, like you exist, separate from all the others that exist. But in the same way that the mind breaks up time and the mind breaks up events, the ego mind is what breaks up and makes it appear like we have separate lives that are somehow separate from one another. But how are they separate from one another? They can't ever be. Did you independently breathe yourself into creation? You rely on every other being that has ever been. And it's cyclical, of course. So we don't need to do too many mental gymnastics of this right now. But what is happening when you begin to reawaken to your true self? Because humanity used to be fully awakened, fully integrated into all that is. This is the golden age, okay? In the 5 ages, Greek ages. This would be the golden age where everything existed as one harmonious abundance. Beings communicated telepathically because they realized, they understood immediately that they exist in the same waveform energy field. But over eons of time, of course, there's the silver or the bronze age, and then we are currently in the iron age, where there's maximum amount of confusion, maximum amount of separation. We've lost all of the what would appear to be like magical powers, sort of telepathy and things, what would appear to be supernatural powers, although they're natural powers. We've lost connection with all of this. So we are in the final age, the Kali Yuga. Yes, the final age before humanity sort of reawakens again. But remember, it's not linear. We're not going anywhere. It's all cyclical. It's all just cyclical. And so, and the cycles sort of overlap each other. All right. So we've fallen deep into the darkness, deep into confusion, deep into being lost from our true nature, deep into the delusion that I am an ego mind, that I am somebody that's separate from everybody else in life. You got to go out and take what's yours, and you got to make something of yourself, which on the surface are great things, but they're also an underlying delusion of the ego mind. Yeah. And so as your practices, as you begin to awaken again, and thus humanity as a whole begins to awaken, yes, as your awakening is humanity awakening. Remember that. As that begins to happen, the apparent boundaries that the ego mind has put onto things, onto reality, begin to dissolve. And you will see with ever increasing clarity the unified nature of reality. You will see and feel it and experience. There are no separate events. There are no separate moments. There are no separate beings. You will begin to see and sense and feel and experience this more and more. And at first it will be like, whoa, synchronicities. You know, the unrelated events are appearing to be very related. Whoa, okay. So the ego mind will still, play around with that. Okay, how does that pertain to me? See, but the ego mind will still want to own the synchronicities, and it will say, okay, what does it mean for me? That's all the ego mind cares about is me. And so it will get lost. Many people, they'll sort of awaken to a certain level and then get lost in apparent synchronicities. But remember, the human ego mind is a meaning generating machine. It takes the neutral, what is perfectly neutral, which is reality, the nature of reality, always perfectly neutral. The sum total of all things is zero. It takes that and it infuses meaning into it. And the meaning is always in relation to me, or it's not in relation to me, which is another way of saying in relation to me. And so the ego mind will run with that. And many people can once they start to experience actual synchronicities, can get lost in that, thought process. Okay, so this means that. And then you see those crazy people, putting strings like this, putting strings up on, certain upon certain things, how they relate and tie together. You've all seen those lunatic on television, like in movies, tying the strings together. It's all connected. It's all connected. That's the ego mind not understanding what it's seeing. That's the ego mind trying to integrate the unimaginable nature of reality into its small little confined box of what it is. So as we begin to awaken, if you allow this process to happen and to understand that it's not happening for you, because there is no you ultimately, that it's the nature of reality. It's what is. It is your birthright to be able to see into what appears to be the future. You can feel events happening. You can, as you begin to awaken to these different energies, your tiny little blinders, they open up and you begin to see more and more and more. And so this is what the synchronicities are. They are just the veil of what appears to separate us, what appears to separate time, what appears to separate events. It's evaporating. So let me see what you guys are saying. Okay, thanks for hearing me out on that. Okay, so you guys are talking about Silver Sage. What's up, my friend? So all says it's coincidence. Okay, yes, that can be part of it. Teach Streets, the way things intertwine. Yes, the way they intertwine. Definitely like a puzzle that is working. Yes, Brian. Ms. T, togetherness, oneness. I like this. Yes, all these are definitely ways to describe synchronicities. Yeah. Miller, yes. Carl Jung is the first that sort of popularized this term. And I do remember that even Jung was saying this is a very healthy mechanism of the mind. So, seeing synchronicities, but it can become the downfall of the mind in psychosis. When the mind enters into a state of psychosis, which there's no defining line between a normal mind and one in psychosis. Remember this, it's all just varying degrees. Then it can be their greatest downfall because it thinks that every little thing, this is where paranoia comes from. Every little thing is about me and every little thing is connected somehow, but I can't see the full thing. And so it's terrified and it's making up meaning. The ego mind will then take what it sees and just make up meaning. And well, see, this means that. And this is the root of that. And see, because it doesn't see the total picture. And we will call this psychosis. Graham says, life picks you up and things start to go your way. If you throw yourself to the wind, you can ride it, is a good way to describe it. Yes, I like that. So when you do begin to allow this illusion to evaporate, you will see that life becomes your friend. And your thought that life is a struggle and all things are struggling. When you look at the animal kingdom, it's a struggle for survival. It's not actually, though. It's actually just a dance of interconnectedness that is beyond any description. And so you begin to see that, and so when you realize these things, life becomes your friend. People enter your life, podcasts enter your life, information enters your life at the right time, because the universe, if it has, we'll say the universe, if it has a desire, which a desire is, again, a human construct of the mind, doesn't exist in nature, in the natural world. But if we could personify it and say the universe has a desire, its only desire would be for you to awaken to your true nature as the entire universe. That's it. And feel infinite peace of God. The peace of God that transcends all understanding, or however the line goes, the scripture goes. This is what they're talking about, for sure. Susanna says, things that happen to aid you and send a message that the universe is listening to my conscious living. I've had a few in my face synchronicities recently. Yes, okay. So definitely, these are things, and at first it will seem like, wow, okay, the universe is sending these things to aid me. And then you will more and more dissolve to the point that, whoa, who is sending these things to me? I am. I am the universe. There is nothing but me, but I, but God, which means that there's none. It's a paradox. We're speaking in complete paradoxes. It's difficult for the ego mind to wrap it around, but you see the complete unity of everything, and your heart is eternally at peace. There's no moment from there out that your heart does not feel the peace of God all the time, everywhere. And so when you start seeing synchronicities, it's a self-reinforcing cycle. But don't get too hung up in them, because remember the psychosis thing we were talking about. So don't get too hung up in them, because I see a lot of people that are deeply coming up with all kind of just tons of fabricated, deep, intricate storylines about the meaning of this and that and all of that, really getting lost in it. Okay? So you can just accept, yes, of course the universe is sending you these positive things. You're in alignment with the universe now, which the universe is not an entity out there. You are the universe, inseparable. You have to understand that. So, Silver Sage says, synchronicity, it feels to be a flow of energy, like when I need or want a material thing, and then one of my clients gives me exactly what I need. People too. Yes, this is good, definitely. Yes, we can consider that a synchronicity, no doubt. But remember, these are all sort of beginning stage synchronicities, we'll say, because it gets way, way deeper than that, and to the point where you will see that the universe, like we said, if it has one desire, it's for you to awaken. So every single thing that happens to you in your life is for your greater awakening. I know it doesn't seem that way sometimes. It doesn't seem that way. Your mind will try to fit in, well, how does the death of this person is for my greater awakening? Well, I'd rather stay asleep then, and have them back. I get it. I understand. There's the nature of reality that is beyond comprehension. But it is all for the greater awakening. So, the people that come to you, the places, the events, it is literally all to show you the greatest nature of reality. Yes. Miller says, I know. It's like it's always right now. The moment is constant. Yes, very. Let's see. Oh, Burger Time. What's up, my friend? Says sensual pleasure, becoming and unbecoming, always in one of those for the most part. You should stop by the temple tonight. Just talking to Bruce about how you have not been in ages. I know. It's been a long time. I've not been to the temple in a long time. Yes. I'm doing my own thing in many ways now. So, but yes, what is tonight? Monday night. Oh yeah, meditations. Monday night meditations. Gosh, it seems like a different life. It really does. Like a different lifetime. What's up, Pam? Good to see you here, my friend. Silver Sage says, yes, the universe brings everything I want and need exactly when I am supposed to have it. Yes. Now, now that is definitely true. But I would remove the want part because a lot of times it's not what you want. It depends. It depends on what levels of. There's no real levels. It's all a circular spectrum, of course, but it depends on sort of what level. At first, it can seem like my wants and my desires. Like, how many of you have watched The Secret? The Secret and the whole modern manifesting movement is sort of a hijacking of ancient understandings of the nature of reality that I learned about, of course, through extensive travels through India, India and Nepal and Thailand, these places, and Greece, and with deep, ancient, rooted teachings and ways of living. And so things like The Secret, where if you watch that, it's sort of hijacked this, the nature of reality and the disillusion of time, and it's created it into consumerism. So there's a guy on The Secret on the movie where they interview him and they say, yeah, I mean, I just said, I need more money. I want more money. I need a bigger house. And so now I just get checks in the mail all the time. That's how it works. So if you want a big house, a big car, lots of friends, if you want, it's all about grandiose. What more can I get? You want things? Okay, boom, there you go. So that's a very, very base level of manifesting, and it doesn't really work like that because unfortunately for the ego mind, having a bigger house and a bigger car and a bigger this or better that is might not be the most conducive thing for your awakening, which is all that actually matters to the universe. Yes. So, okay, yes, okay. So Ms. T says, the real us is our spirit. Decreasing the ego daily prepares us for shedding these cocoons. No walls or limits can define you. The true us will break through and fly free. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. And what is the awakening that we talk about so much? It's actually just the awakening to what has already been. Nothing actually happens except the dissolution of your life. Nothing actually happens except that you die while continuing to live. Live in a way that is more alive than ever before. Yes? Yes, yes, yes. Nima says, someone in my life claims to be spiritually awakened and believes nothing is actually real. So everything is essentially pointless to them. And I don't know how to talk to them about certain things. Yes. So that can be multi-leveled. So it can be, if the person is really proclaiming to be awakened, I mean, that can be, if it's as an awakened teacher, or as an enlightened being, a star seed, as an enlightened star seed, that blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You have to you have to have your doubts, So, I mean, I've been around the world and I've stayed in ashrams and stuff, and you get these characters. They're literally in a costume, and beads and certain tattoos, tribal tattoos and stuff. And they sit in a certain way. Do you see how awakened I am? Yet they're not awakened. And you can see it primarily in the way that they interact with other people. And you can see it just in the aura, in the ambiance. But then I've been around and seen truly enlightened masters that would not describe themselves that way. that they don't have any of the accoutrements, they don't have any 10 prayer beads, they don't have any tattoos, they don't have long beards and stuff. They're just living their life. And life has shown them in a way for their awakening, and they've embraced it. And you can tell. You can tell by the way they treat others. You can tell by the aura, the Buddha field that is created around a fully realized consciousness. Yes. And so there's a whole spectrum of people. But they can get to a point, so back to your point, Nima, they can get to the point, so they believes that nothing is actually real, so everything is essentially pointless to them. And that is still from the ego mind, because if everything is pointless to them, they can sort of just have a carefree, well, nothing matters anyway, so I can just do whatever hedonistic thing I want that is damaging other people, or I can just do whatever I want. It gives free reign to do whatever. That's not the awakened consciousness, because the awakened consciousness understands that ultimately there is no meaning or purpose other than what is relatively infused into each person's reality. And so you will have compassion for that. You will have understanding for that. And nobody wants to when someone's trying to talk to you about something, nobody wants to constantly be told, well, it's not real anyways, or, well, nothing matters. So why don't you just stop why don't you just stop talking to me about that? That's not helpful. That's not being compassionate or empathetic or any of these things. That's a partially realized state of consciousness. Yes. But the fully realized can come back into this world. It can come back into the world and can play with the idea, okay, yeah, so it has meaning to you. It has meaning to you. I understand that. I get why that would. The illusion, of course, is so convincing. So that's perfectly fine. And the thing is that not everyone will awaken from the dream, and not everyone needs to. And ultimately, it doesn't even matter if you do or not. Nothing actually changes. Nothing actually changes. You just see that you just recognize the way things have always been. Perfectly free, infinitely satisfied, already complete. There is no progress towards an eventual state of completion. You're already complete. All the synchronicities are already here now. It's always been that way. You just haven't been seeing it because you've been in a dream. But when you awaken from it, oh my, the whole time, you mean to tell me the whole time I had nothing to worry about this whole time? Yep. Beyond nothing to worry about. I mean, it's even much better than that. There is nothing but joy and light and love and peace and serenity and satisfaction. So, yeah, I don't know this person exactly, but I'm just giving some examples. And yeah, it can be hard to talk to some people that are stuck in that. That's the ego mind saying that, well, nothing matters anyways. So they can just dismiss spiritual bypassing. Yeah. Teach says, seems like everything happens to hold me back. Well, with that state of mind, guess what? It will. It may seem like that. It may seem like that for years until a state comes where you finally get out of the way of yourself. And then where you finally had enough, you can get to a point like I did where you don't want to continue even another day in your life. You didn't want to actually off yourself. You would never do that. But if you just never woke up again, that would be perfectly fine. That's the kind of thing. That's the state that you get to. It could get so bad that you're brought to your knees and that you just throw up your hands and say, okay, well, I can't live one more day like this. I'm not living now. So you have to be willing to die. It could get that bad. And so, but only after the death and rebirth process happens do you then go, oh, that's what it was all for. Okay, now it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense to you before. It just seems like, why is all this atrocious things happening. I mean, why am I just in constant misery day and night now? It doesn't make sense when you're in it. So, Spencer Mountain says, yep, sounds like NSA Buddhism too. NSA Buddhism. I'm not sure what that stands for. NSA Buddhism. Yeah, chant for what you want. Oh, absolutely. It's there's a huge movement for that because that's what will draw people in, and draw, hey, the more you donate, the more you'll receive. Give to God now because the more what you give, God will give back to you tenfold. So if you're going to give 100, better give $1,000. Something like that. You know what I mean? So there is, I see this everywhere. I mean, all religions have it, even though at their core, at the pure essence, the religions speak the same thing. They point to the same reality. But man, the people of the world that have misunderstood them take it and, okay, how can I make it for my gain? How can I benefit from this in some way? That's what the ego mind says. So, man, VA Green, that is the truth. Many people nowadays are in a false awakening. Absolutely. I see it all the time. They are in a false awakening. Yes. We should talk about that. That'll be a topic one time. False awakening. I got so many examples of what I could say to this. Yes. Yes. Yeah, right. I know. Graham says, George Carlin quote, it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. Right. Oh, Namo Renke Kyo. Yes. Religion is all about divide and conquer. Yes, absolutely. It is. So well, we won't get into that right now because we got to get going pretty soon, actually. So we will talk about this another time, though. Definitely. Yes, Miss T says, living in simplicity feels like luxury. That's the thing, guys. You have to, we'll talk about this sometime, but what is real wealth? What is real wealth? I mean, you see a lot of time in this culture, a mansion and big cars and a trophy wife, bunch of plastic parts on your body and stuff, a bunch of surgeries pumped up and all this kind of stuff. That's success. That, oh yeah, you gotta rise and grind, you gotta hustle, and then you gotta get, I make a 12-figure income from doing nothing all day. I just post little videos, oh yeah, so you can be like me with my rented Lamborghini and stuff. You see all this kind of stuff all the time. It's a pathetic joke. But it's promoted by the algorithm. The AI, the algorithmic intelligence, is promoting this because it keeps people trapped in a very base form of reality, of materialistic things that are, of course, themselves void of any substance at all, both spiritually, also literally, like we examined last time with quantum entanglement and quantum non-locality. Yes. So literally empty space. And that's what everyone's striving towards, chasing towards. And it's a good one because there's never an end to it. All right. I experienced this on a personal level to a degree that I had to. I didn't get the mansion and all that stuff, but there was a point in time when I had more cash at once than I knew what to do with, and got everything I ever wanted. Every single thing, just kept buying stuff, and it was this big property and everything. And none of it, there was never an end to it. I got to a point where I'm like, okay, well, I've already got all the, and I just still felt that empty hole in me. Like, okay, just the next thing, you got to acquire this big piece of land, or you got to do this. But it all fell apart. Thankfully, it all fell apart, came crashing down. And I had to walk away with what I entered, which was nothing. So, years of misery that was, but uh, it made the fracture. It fractured the ego mind. Yeah. And so now it's like living in simplicity. Okay. So how alive do you feel? That's real wealth. How healthy are you? How not just how many non like morbidities do you have, but how alive do you feel? How alive are your years of life? You know what I'm saying? Not it's not that well, my grandpa smoked and drank till he was 92 and they see he's still alive. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, if you're smoking and drinking all the time, your quality of life is not what I'm talking about. It's nothing like it could be. Okay? So it's those experience of the years. How alive are you while you're alive? Any one of us could die immediately from a car accident tomorrow or today, but so length isn't the determining factor. It is how alive do you feel? How sensitive are you to the subtleties of life? It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so when you're constantly chasing this dream of more and bigger things, and you lose that, and you chase after false senses of security and peace and confidence. Yeah. So, okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for being here today. And it was a wonderful discussion. I'm glad that you guys were chiming in. And I'm glad that we got to touch on some very important topics. Yeah. V.A. Green says, the biggest lie, the more you want, the more you receive, the more you have, the happier you'll be. Right. Oh, yeah. Big lie. Because it just creates a never-ending hole, a never-ending gap, like a black hole. I experienced that today in my life. I experienced that for sure, beyond any doubt. I'm speaking from experience. So, okay, guys. Well, thank you all very much, and I hope that you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We will see you guys on the gardening channel Saturday, and yep. We'll see you guys on the gardening channel Saturday. If you guys are shopping on Amazon, make sure you use the links in the description. It might not be here. Actually, I don't know if I put them in this videos anymore, but in the gardening, just go to any of the gardening videos and click on the Amazon storefront and then buy your things in Amazon through that. Okay. Because that is, that will help us get the commission for that. Okay. And it doesn't cost you anything. So it's a great way to help out the channel and help out the operation. So thank you. And we'll see you guys next week. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say.